Hello, everyone. Welcome to TD Board Gamers. My name is Dave,
And I'm Dirk.
and today we're going to take a look at Dirk's top five
Ish.
ish protection upgrades.
Yeah. This one actually, I did have a few extra that I had to think. So, I mean, it took me a little bit to whittle this one down a little bit. I was able to whittle it down with a couple of honorable mentions. But yeah, because protection actually has a lot of really good upgrades. And some of them, depending on what type of deck I built, can be substantially better than they would in one deck over the other. So, I mean, you've got a lot of that. But there was a couple that I thought honorable mentions that I thought were worthwhile to mention, even though they are kind of dependent on the type of deck that I'm building. The first one I've got here is Dauntless. Dauntless, this is one that, as long as your hit points are greater than your starting hit points, which the further into the game we get, the easier this has become to do because you can still take quite a bit of damage and be above. Because, I mean, I think we figured it out like, I mean, it's pretty easy to get, six over your starting pretty easily. So, six or seven. So, this one, is definitely good if you are trying to build a deck that and you've got stuff like that in it. It's a really good card to actually include in there because it gives you retaliate one, and it does not force you to block to get that retaliate. So I mean, it's a great card to have. I do like it, but you do have to expect to have a higher hit point higher hit points for this one to actually be a useful
I mean,
card.
it's really good with Hercules.
Oh yeah, it is great in case like that. The next one I've got is a little bit different situation, but it's the stun gun. This one, it's a weapon that it comes with a couple of charges. If you use one charge off of it, you can stun a minion. If you use two charges, and so if you use both charges, you can stun the villain instead. So this is one that if I have the slots, which a lot of times in protection I don't tend to have the slots. These tend to be some of my larger decks, so it doesn't get used as often. But it is a really good one, and situationally, this one can be phenomenal. So because always preventing the villain from attacking you in the first place is great. So
I like it
yeah,
with Tiger, so you can
yeah,
stun the
this
minions and keep them so you can get your card draw.
yeah, actually, yeah, in
Tiger
situations
protection is
like
really
that,
nice
she is
too.
great. It is great for her. But so yeah, that is my honorable mentions. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the top five. So the number one here I've got is Nerves of Steel. So this is of course the resource card that allows you to generate an energy resource to pay for a defense event. Defense events. There's a lot of really good ones out there. Some of them require energy. Some of them require other things. But just the fact that a resource to pay for the defense events is nice. Especially because one of the biggest problems you run into with defense is if you're having to use cards out of your hand to pay for the resources, then that means there are less cards you can use during the for defense events. The less cards you can use during the hero phase. So yeah, anytime you can reduce those costs, that's great. All right, my number four is electrostatic armor. So this is basically one that it allows you to, if you defend against an attack, you get basically, in effect, you get retaliate. I mean, if you defend against an attack, you're going to deal one damage to the attacking character. So it's similar to retaliate, but not quite the same. But it does require you to actually defend in this case,
Because
which is
this
the reason why it's down to my number four.
because this works against ranged attacks. Because
Yeah.
retaliate is ignored, but since this is not retaliate, you can still damage someone who attacks you with a range attack.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, but the fact that you do have to defend, that is why it's down at the number four instead of a little higher. But yeah, he's right. It does. It replaces that. So it does have a little bit of functionality there. My number three is the energy barrier. So this one, it does have counters on it that you have to use, but whenever you exhaust it and use a counter, then you're going to prevent one damage from an attack and deal that damage back to the enemy. Again, this is not retaliate. You don't have to worry about that. You can get around the ranged. It does have the drawback of using the counters, but you are not required to block in this case, and you're still preventing damage. So that's actually kind of why it bumps up over the electrostatic for me, even though it does cost twice what the electrostatic does. I do find it to be, in my opinion, substantially better because of that.
Right. So yeah, because a couple of nice things is you can the villain attacks you and then you ping the damage onto a minion who hasn't activated yet, has 1 hit point left. So now that minion's defeated. So
Yep.
it's not going to activate against you. Or it's a nice way to knock a tough off, even a different enemy.
Yeah, because I guess that's the thing I didn't mention is the fact that this can be any enemy in this case with the
Right.
barrier. Unlike the armor, the electrostatic, it bounces it back to the attacker.
Yeah.
So yeah, great. So then my number 2 is the armored vest. And this one, I like it in there. This is going to go in most of my protection decks. It's very rare for me to build a protection deck without this. I have done a few, but not very many of them because, for a cost of 1, you add 1 to your defense. And of course, if you're playing a protection, you are more than likely blocking. And so if that's the case, you're trying to prevent as much damage as possible because it's kind of what most of the protection decks are built around. Not all of them. Like I said, I've built some protection decks that I don't care about how much damage I'm going to take because I'm doing other things with my cards. So in that case, I might not use the vest, but in most of them, that is a pretty critical part of the deck. So I do want the higher defense. And that one has only been supplanted by, hey, a common theme nowadays with the upgrades, but defensive conditioning. So this is the recent conditioning upgrade that came out. So not only does it give you the +1 defense, but you also get +3 hit points. So basically you're adding an endurance to the armored vest for a cost of 1 more. And the great thing about it is you can combine the 2 of these. So now you've got for a cost of 3. So this is cheaper than a lot of the others. For a cost of 3, you have +2 defense and +3 hit points. So this one is actually easier to get off than the other. So I actually like this combination a little bit better because of that.
All right.
All right. So that is my top 5 protection upgrades.
So
Plus,
next would be pool if he had a top 5 pool. But
man, pool's got a small card pool. Yeah, pool's got a small card pool.
so do you have a top 5 pool, or are we moving on to basic next?
We're doing pool. I got 5.
Oh, all right.
I got 5. In fact, what?
And honorable mentions?
I have honorable mentions.
Wow.
I do have honorable
So
mentions.
it's going to be the longest of the pool.
This is going to be the longest of the pool because I actually do like. I was looking at it, and
Nope.
Oh wait, no, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, nope.
Guess we'll.
I've got it. We'll find out. There's
find
something. It a little different than I said.
All right. Well, anyways,
Stay tuned.
thank you for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe.
All right, if you want to see more content by us, like whatever I figure out I'm going to do with this pool thing, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. You'll get notifications whenever we post new videos. All right, see you.